Hello guys. So today we will see that how in the general studies paper 1 sociology could have helped you to look forward to different dimensions. Okay. So again I would like to reassert on the point that whatever sociological jargons, the terms or the thinkers that we have used in this PDF is only for a reference purpose. Okay, don't try to use it in your GS or essay paper. The entire motive is to establish an interlinkage between various topics because your sociology knowledge is not just restricted. Okay, the sociology knowledge here encompasses a broader disciplines of geography, history, and culture. So we will see how the various questions in the UPSC General Studies 1 were relevant and could have been answered using your sociological viewpoint or dimensions. The very first question which we have is the nature of Bhakti literature and its contribution to Indian culture. As a general student, similarly, we could have written what is Bhakti literature, who were the proponents. But if we interlink it with sociology, we will have to write about the ideas of social movements, that how various social movements led to this bhakti cult coming in, how there was a growth of various sects and cults. We could also say that these bhakti literature, okay, this was an agent of social change. Okay, that's a very important component of sociology. Again, we can also look into the role of media in social change. We can also talk about bridging a social capital. Okay, you know the difference between human capital and social capital, and how this bhakti literature, okay, this came into increase the idea of social capital. It promoted communal harmony because before bhakti literature we had various problems associated with the present brahminism or the caste system. And next is the religious revivalism. Somewhere bhakti literature offered us a mean of religious revivalism. So you can interlink this question directly to the religion part of the optional, and also the social movement part or the social change part for that matter, and it could have definitely been a booster in your answers. Okay, next question that we see is with respect to the rise and growth of social religious reform movements with special reference to Young Bengal and Brahma Samaj. Young Bengal, Vivian Derozio, and Brahma Samaj, we all know the father of modern Renaissance, Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Okay, these are the basic things that needs to be mentioned. But besides that, what will give your see, because this is a very general questions, okay, and every would write the same. What is the objective of Young Bengal? What is the objective of Brahma Samaj? But your idea should be a bit different. Okay, that how was these growth of these reform movements took place. So you can write about the growth of these reform movements in the colonial rule, the traditional part which everyone will be writing. You could take an advantage and write about charismatic authority, that how Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Henry Vivian Derozio, they had a charismatic personality which definitely led to the growth of this socio-religious reform movement. You can write about the routinization of the charisma. You can write about the growth of Indian middle class in the social activism. Okay, this is also part of sociology. You can write about education and social change, that how the imbibement of Western education and the scientific education led to the growth of social religious reform movements. And you can also use here is the concept of westernization of Srinivas. Okay, this is how your sociological knowledge as a whole could have helped you to broaden the ideas of a particular subject in GS as well. So you can see that sociology is not just about society or something. It encompasses each and every aspect. We saw two questions from the history which could have been answered in this way. Okay, let's see another question. The another question is assess the main administrative issues and socio-cultural problems in the integration process of Indian princely states. Okay, this is a good question. So they are asking two factors. One is administrative issues and also the socio-cultural problems. When you have such kind of questions, try to answer each and every part. So through sociology, you could have linked it to the ethnic nationalism, okay, and the idea of nation and state, which we read in political sociology. You could have again related it to the idea of charismatic authority, that how, the role of Sardar Patel, okay, helped in the integration of princely states, the rational legal authority, the various armed forces which were used, the Nehru and Patel. Okay, this could have been used. Also, you could use the theories of power here to show how there was a certain socio-cultural problems. Okay, the theory of allies, all these. So in this way, you don't need to write. Okay, you don't need to write charismatic authority, etc. You just need to extract the interlinkage between all of these. Okay. So next question which you could find a use of sociology was this question. It is basically a geography based question, but sociology, as I said, is beautified everywhere. So next we have is, what are the environmental implications of the reclamation of the water bodies into the urban land use? Explain with examples. Okay, this is a good question. So here, how you can link this with sociology? First of all, you will think about that, the urban development, what kind of crisis has the urban development led to? Okay, you will mention about the displacement. Okay, you will mention about the various environmental problems and their impact on the society as a whole or a different section of society. You will mention about industrialization, urbanization, and all these. In this way, you can easily link sociology to your regular geography answers, because in sociology we read about urbanization. Okay, there's a branch of sociology called as urban sociology. So there we read about various environmental problems and how they affect the various sections. Okay, how they affect the various sections. So this is what has been asked here. Okay. Next, move to next question that we have. The next question that we have is, examine the uniqueness of tribal knowledge system and when compared with mainstream knowledge and cultural system. Okay, so this is again tribal based question, a bit different though. Okay, it is asking you that how the tribal knowledge is different from the mainstream knowledge, and how are their cultural system also different, and how they would have definitely led to the development of certain ideas. So here you can link it directly to the sociological topics of tribal communities in India. The tribal hold a something that we call as cultural capital. Okay, they have something that is very rich in culture. Okay, they have a very rich culture. We learn various practices from them. Many a times you will find that these tribals have got various medicinal knowledge. Okay, that is borrowed by the various practitioners to treat various diseases. Okay, also you will know about the various when we talk about the cultural system, we also talk about the little tradition of tribes. So all these is a way in which you could have linked this question to sociology. The next question is the very important and a very hot topic, you could say, of sociology, is the gig economy. So this question was based on this. The question goes that, examine the role of gig economy in the process of empowerment of women in India. Okay, so it's a positive aspect. It is see, woman question is always asked, but see what UPSC is asking nowadays, it's linking gig economy to the empowerment of women. So here you could link it directly, that how the gig economy has led to economic advancement of women. If women have become more economically independent, okay, they have become economically independent, and as a result this has led to their less dependence on men. Okay, and this will obviously allow them to have their own decision making process. This is what you can go about. Okay, you can link it with the evolution of modern industries. You should explain what gig economy is. You will write about the technology and the social change, that how women are more in the informal sector, and how the gig economy can play a very important role in their empowerment. But do mention about the negative aspects as well. Okay, so in gig economy we all know we go for freelancing. Okay, We have a freedom of choice of work. What kind of work do we want to do? There is independent contract. You are not bound to anything. They act as free agents. Okay. And next is there is flexibility in working hours, and this flexibility in working hour adds to the advantage of women, especially the married women, because most of the time you will find them being engaged in their day-to-day activities. Okay, in their day-to-day activities. So in this way, you can directly link sociological knowledge to answering these questions. Okay. Our next question which we have is, to what extent did the role of moderates prepare a base of wider freedom movement? So, when we read about sociology, we read about the various social movements which took place in the colonial past. So, you could have related it directly to it. You could have related it to the idea of social mobilization, that how the moderates were able to prepare a base for the wider freedom movement. You could also relate it to socio political elites, where various elites like Dadabhai Naroji, okay, all these influenced the masses to take a role in the freedom movement. So, in this way, you could have related various sociological ideas to the role of moderates and could have given a better view to your answers than the general answers which are written. Okay. So we'll see the next question. The next question is the constructive uh, program of Mahatma Gandhi in the non-cooperation movement and the civil disobedience movement. Very important question. We all know year after year there are, you know, questions from this Mahatma Gandhi portion. So obviously it was expected one. But how you could make this answer different? So here also you can write about the growth of various social movements, the structural strain theory you can refer to, where there is certain kind of strain in the structure which leads to creation of certain social movements like non-cooperation, civil disobedience. About again the charismatic authority of Mahatma Gandhi, the very good example. You can also talk about the various forms of protest like collective action. Okay, we read in sociology the collective action. Okay, then you can talk about the community development programs, the Sarvodaya, and the various significant principles like salt in Satyagraha. See, salt was used as a psychological symbol here, okay, to influence the various lower chunks of masses. Because, you know, salt was something that was used by the people at the very bottom chunks of the society as well. So this served as a symbol status, okay, as a social symbol, what we need in symbolic interactionism. So I'm not asking you to use directly all these terms, but you can just relate it and make your answer more broader when we relate it to sociology. Okay. And next question, if we look into, we will find the next question is question 13. There arose a serious challenge to the democratic state system between the two world wars. Evaluate. Okay. So it's a good question again. So here you can talk about the power theory in sociology, the power allied, okay, the military leadership of Hitler, the autocracy. You can also talk about the religious fundamentalism idea, where one is intolerant towards other religious view, okay, intolerant towards other religious view. So all these you can mention. You can also mention about stratification based on race, which we have read, that is the cleansing of Jews, okay, which Hitler did. You can mention about nation state democracy and how the idea of citizenship. So all these are a serious challenge that we find to the democratic state between the two world wars, because at that time after the World War One, the Germany was treated very bad, and Germany was forced into different treaties. So you can see how all these led to the further challenges to the democratic system. So you can in this way rule everything to sociology and can mention in your answers. The next question that we have is, discuss the multi-dimensional implications of uneven distribution of mineral oil in the world. So in sociology, we have a development and dependency theory, where we talk about the dependency of developed nations on the developing nations. So you can link here all of these, that how the developing as well as the developed nations are dependent on the underdeveloped nations for meeting their mineral oil demands. You can talk about the importance of economic capital, Okay, you can talk about the circular international migration. Okay, you can also talk about the various political conflicts that takes over resources. You know this, the entire world was divided on the basis of such political conflicts. You can talk about the globalization. Okay, how globalization has somewhere led to, unequal distribution of resources like the mineral oil. So in this way you could relate entire sociological knowledge to the GS knowledge as well. So as said above, don't use these terms. Okay, you can just try to interlink the points. The next thing that we find is, what are the main socio-economic implications arising out of the development of IT industry in major cities of India? So very direct question. So how you can link this with the same, in sociology we have topics like the evolution of modern industry in India. We have ideas about the growth of urban settlements, slums and deprivation. So whenever there is a change in a city life, whenever there is a development of IT industries, there will be deprivation, there will be migration, there will be alienation, there will be impersonal social relations developing. Okay, and the personal social relations will destroy or will be lessened, and we will be more impersonal or informal. There will be rise in regional inequality. Okay, there will be these multinational companies, they will be trying to bridge all the social capital problems that we have. And also these IT industries undoubtedly will lead to the change in social structures, because all those people who will work or migrate to cities to work in this IT industries, okay, they will move from a joint family to what, a nuclear family. This is what kind of things that you can mention in this answer. So in the last question, if we last two questions, we see that the last question talks about discuss the main objectives of population education. Okay, and point out the measures to achieve them in detail. So in sociology, we read about population and the size, the education and social change, about the various disparities in education. So recently many topics has been in news with regard to disparities in reproductive education. Okay, so you can link this idea here that in population education, we should also include reproductive education. We can include various contraceptive education, and all these can be mentioned here. You can also mention about the role of civil society in educating the public. You can talk about the gender biasness in access to reproductive education. Okay, and also the role of state. You can talk about the national population policy and how the state should play a role. So this was an expected question because we had the two child norm policy being in news around the corner, and we also celebrated the population day, all these things. So as a result, we would see that these were in news, and so we can relate it to sociology. The last question that we have is about cryptocurrency. So the expected questions easy as well, okay? But see, when you link it with sociology, it will give you an extra edge over others. So here is, what is cryptocurrency? How does it affect global society? And has it been affecting Indian society also? So obviously, first you will write as usual what is cryptocurrency, and you will try to link the very important topic of technology and social change. How the cryptocurrency, okay, can bring about social change. It can bring positive changes, which we call as the functional aspects in sociology. It can act as an alternative to the paper currencies. If we have cryptocurrencies, they will act as an alternative to paper currencies. It will also lead to, digital divide, because many people will don't know how they will use cryptocurrency. Okay, even today the penetration of digital media is very less in India. Okay, the rural people still don't have access to the digital devices. So cryptocurrency again is a very technical thing, and it will widen the digital divide. It will lead to cultural lag theory we have read, where basically we say that the material culture will advance more and the non material culture will remain behind. It will be again proved because many of them will be adapting to the new technologies, but the ideas, etc., will take time to be integrated into the society. Next, we have the cryptocurrencies can also be used negatively for terrorism, okay, for terrorism, for money laundering, okay, all these things. So as a result, we can lead, link all these topics of sociology to cryptocurrency as well. So see how beautifully you could have used your sociological knowledge. Okay. The next question is, how does Indian society maintain continuity in traditional social values? Enumerate the changes taking place in it. Okay, so this is a very good question where we talk about the continuity in the traditional social values, that how the traditional social values are being continued, and also they are asking you about the changes. So this is again a part of the social change, okay, where you can mention about education and social change. You can also mention about law and social change, that how law has led to social change, how education has led to social change. You can mention about cultural lag, which we discussed earlier, that somewhere there is an advancement in the material culture, but we lag behind in the non-material culture. Okay, you can mention all of this. You can also mention about the change. See, when we read about change in sociology, we read about pattern variables of Parsons, where Parsons says that a person is moving from universalism to particularism. Okay, where he says that a person at first he thinks about the entire society, he is humanitarian in nature, but later on he becomes a particularist where he thinks about himself or becomes a selfish, okay, self-interest. So you can link all of these of sociology to your GS paper very properly. Okay, you can also write about the AGIL concept where we talk about adaptation, goal management, okay, latency, and all these, okay, and integration. So all these you can link it to the continuity and change, that whenever there is a social change we try to adapt to it. We have a goal which we need to fulfill. There is always certain kind of tensions which take place in society when we have social, values, when social values change, and this needs to be integrated. Okay, so this is how you would be taking your entire course in this answer. So I hope this video was useful to you and it made it very clear to you people that how sociology is not just about linking it to the optional paper. Sociology has a huge relevance in the GS1 paper, not just the topic of society. Okay, it's useful in history, it's useful in geography, it's useful in normal answers like cryptocurrency as well. Okay, if you want to get further inquiry and you want this PDF, you can just visit our website www.reliableandvalid.com, and you can also join our telegram group which is sociology and social issues. Okay, so we'll wind up here. Thank you.